Hey, welcome everybody. I'm Alan Thomas, and this is my better half, Angie Thomas. Say,
Hello,
Angie,
hello.
and we are here with Rethink Dieting and one of our favorite clients, Miss Suzette Brown, who hails from Alabama. And say, hey, Suzette.
Hello.
There you go. And we're going to talk. We're just going to have a conversation with Suzette about her Rethink Dieting story, and she's been with us. She came into the program. I think wasn't it June 17th? Is that right? That about when it was? Okay.
Yep.
And
of this year, yes.
Yeah, and that's been about about 110, 15 days ago, I think, if my math's right. About right?
Yes.
You mind telling everybody how much weight you've released?
As of this morning, I think it's 36, almost 37.
That's right. I think it was 36 and a half. That's it. That sounds right. We're going to count the half too. So we're going to count that, but it's.
We count everything.
That's right. Now give everybody, and we're having a little bit of audio problem. That's the reason we're late starting, but give everybody that's listening, kind of a sense of how, number one, what it was like before you went through the Rethink Dieting process. Maybe some of the things you've tried, but kind of what was life like as it regard to weight?
Disappointing. Disheartening. Felt like it was going to be this way forever. Pretty much, and had pretty much come to the attitude and so forth that, nothing I'm doing is changing, so why bother?
Yeah. We've been there. Hey, we got those t-shirts too. So I've definitely been there. So do you mind telling everybody how you found us? How you found Rethink Dieting?
Well, I had for everybody that knows, I also have diverticulosis, and I had a really bad episode since like beginning in January, and just could not seem to get well. And so I had a colonoscopy. I think it was in April, May, somewhere along in there. And I told myself that, okay, since, because you have to be cleaned out, to do a colonoscopy, since we're there, now is a good time to just clean slate. Let's do something different. And, try it one more time to, lose some weight. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what I could do different. And then, based on my Christian beliefs, I know the Lord spoke to me and said, but you've never tried it with me. So while I would say, okay, we can do that, and don't know what we're doing. But anyway, so I did some Google searches looking for a diet that was good for diverticulosis. And the website, Rethinking Dieting, popped up. I've never heard of it, never seen it. I don't believe it was an accident. So I investigated, and here we are.
Yeah, pretty wild. And by the way, we don't do we're not medical professionals. We don't treat any of those things, but we're pretty good at the weight piece. And so kind of walk through, with people who are, kind of where you were and like where we were, I mean, in our journey a long time ago, and kind of walk through what the process was like. Let me ask you some questions. Did Angie or I ever tell you what to eat?
No.
Oh, that's weird. And you lost 36 and a half pounds so far?
Yes.
How do you do that? How does that work? I mean, my goodness. And so did you starve yourself?
No.
So you didn't
none of that. There's no crash diet. There's no weight loss pills, if you will. There's no diet drinks. There's none of that. It's like your title. It's rethinking the process, and it's making a decision. And I've made the decision that I've got to change what I'm doing in order to be healthy.
Yeah. And here you are, 100+ days later, no new diet, new exercise plan, but all of a sudden 36 pounds disappears. I mean, that's no joke. That's a lot of weight. I mean, that is, and that's something to be really proud of. And you stepped into our process and did what we asked. You did the hard. We didn't ask you to do anything unhealthy, but we got you out of your comfort zone. I know. And
yes, yeah, that first picture on Facebook was, I don't even know how to describe it. Terrifying's a good one.
Well, and what we're talking about there with folks is we get people to face it in a different way maybe than they've faced it before. But and Suzette has done those things, and so just kind of thinking about what's been some experiences you've had that maybe have, and I didn't plan to ask you this question, but it's kind of popping in my mind, and you know how I am, I just sort of roll with it. But what are some positive experiences you've had because of your rethinking this weight loss process and drop these 36 pounds, 37 pounds so far? Anything that comes up?
Yeah, I feel better. My knees don't hurt like they used to. I've actually broadened my horizons as far as veggies go. I've not had another diverticulosis flare up since I've been doing this.
Wow. We didn't know that. That's awesome. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And the other thing, my clothes are looser. I haven't started buying new clothes yet because I'm going to wait till, we have to on that one. But there's been a few, not too many people, but a few people have begun to notice, and it's like, are you losing weight? Yes, but I'm trying to keep it on the down low, because especially at work, because I just don't want to hear the drama that goes with it. So I have a few close friends that know outside of our Facebook thing.
Yeah.
And but it's more like we've talked about, in our meetings. It's not so that they can go, police me. It's that they know, and they can add it to their prayer list, or say, how you doing, or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and it is. I mean, it's a process. I mean, so what would you say to somebody? Well, first, let me ask you. Okay, so how much more are you planning to release? How much more weight?
I think it's 83 point something pounds to go to get to my goal.
Yeah.
Of 165.
So what would you tell somebody? I mean, here you are, you've struggled all these years, you've had, no telling how many times it didn't work. I mean, and here you are, you're doing this thing that, this crazy guy and his wife down in Amelia Island, Florida, who you didn't know, got you to believe in, and we're not God, clearly. I tried to convince Angie I was, but she didn't buy it. So we're not, but you're doing this thing that's stepping into your life in a way that you've never done before. What would you say to somebody who says there's no way you reach your ideal weight? There's no way you get that out of 84 pounds off. No way.
Just hide and watch.
Just watch me. There you go. That's it. And that's it. Because it is a decision. So what's the future look like? Okay. What's the dream? I mean, and if you don't mind sharing, I mean, as you go at 84 pounds.
Yeah. My dream is, once we reach the goal weight, of course, my brother lives out west now. And the dream is, when I fly out west to visit him, I will not need the seatbelt extender. I will fit in the normal plane seat. Mm-hmm. He also shouldn't recognize me when I get there either, which would be awesome. And then I have a friend that lives in Virginia. I intend to go see her and her husband as well, with my new self, or not my new self, but the Suzette that, like you said, it's always been there. So.
Yeah.
Bring the Suzette out of hiding.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So what would you say to somebody that has never heard of, this process, and maybe they failed, for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and they've never been able to do it, and they're feeling kind of hopeless, like you might have been, and like I know we felt that way a long time ago. What would you say to somebody that was, to the Suzette that we haven't met and that you haven't met? What would you say?
Your only thing you're going to lose here is, the weight. It's not just releasing the weight. It's also changing your mindset and facing some of the stuff you may have been, especially if we're all usually wind up being emotional eaters. So, but you've got to deal with that got you where you're at to begin with. Yeah. And once you make the decision that you're ready to move and deal with it, then you'll also be able to deal with the other.
Yeah.
And I know from my personal experience in this last 100 and whatever days it is, that some of the things that used to come to mind that I learned from childhood, they don't pop up in my mind anymore, because not only, releasing the weight, you released that emotion or that whatever it is. And it's just like the scripture says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that's exactly what I'm working toward.
That's exactly right. Well, you have been a dream client. You've done the work, and it's so hard because there are things to be done. It's not, when people come into our program, they're expecting us to tell them, things that we don't tell them, and they're not expecting us to tell them things that we do tell them. But at the end of the day, it's a decision, and to see people that step into it and don't fight the process. You as we say, you emptied your cup, and it's really and it's really something pretty cool when you look at what the possibilities in the future are, and
right.
those things that God's going to open up, and He's currently opening up. You can't see them, I can't see them, a lot of them, and it has nothing to do with the weight a lot of times, but it has everything to do with the weight.
Yes. With the attitude and the mindset.
That's 100% it. 100% it.
And that's it. And that's what it takes.
It's
not a quick fix. It's work.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and while it's like I say all the time, it feels like you're watching paint dry, because it feels like. But let's be honest. At this rate, I mean, you're dropping about 1/3 of a pound a day. Hard to believe, isn't it? Did the scale has the scale gone down every day?
Not every day, no.
No.
There's days when it jumps back up, and then it goes back down, then it jumps back up, and it's like, seriously?
Yeah. Have you occasionally had some, what people say, oh, that's bad food or whatever, which I don't believe there's any bad food, but what have you maybe had fried chicken along the way?
Oh yeah.
Have you maybe had a cookie along the way?
Yes, I had a Rice Krispie treat today.
There you go. And I mean, and so, but what's the chances of you not making your ideal weight in your target time?
It's not on my radar. We're working toward that as healthy and as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we say all the time. Jesus said all the food was good. He just didn't say eat it all this afternoon. So,
right.
So, but you're doing phenomenal. And go ahead.
And I was going to say, another thing that's happened too in this process is my taste for some things have changed. I no longer, because I don't do as much sugar as I used to. So when you stop doing the sugar, you stop having that craving. Yeah. So that's helped a lot. So my taste has changed. And I never thought I'd say this, but I went the other night for supper to Chick-fil-A and ordered the salad, and it was the absolute best thing. And I'm like, that's what I've been wanting all day long. So
I was
wanting a salad.
Isn't that weird?
That's weird.
How cool is that? And that's it. I mean, when you stop making the food the enemy, then all of a sudden you start opening up to these possibilities that were always there. But if I tell you can't have a donut, then what do you want?
Oh, yeah.
You want
donuts. You just drive through the Krispy Kreme and, load the car up.
And that's right. No Dunkin', strictly Krispy Kreme. Spoken like a young lady from the South.
Yeah, and we have one here in Dothan, but I don't eat Krispy Kremes anymore. They're too sweet.
Isn't that interesting? And so when people see this and I tell people, Suzette found us. She went to this training right here. That's where she started. RethinkDieting.com. She watched the training. She saw some things that made sense to her, and it's a totally free training. Then Suzette booked a call, and we got on the phone and she went to transformmyfuture.com/apply, and we figured out what was not working with her weight in the past, what had worked, and then what the future could look like if she reached her ideal weight. And then we invited her in the program, and she hit the ground running. She hit it running, but hitting the ground running translates to about a pound or two a week. That's fast.
And another thing I wanted to throw out there, because the other programs and things I've tried in the past, there was always a guilt thing about, oh, well, you didn't lose any this week, or, oh, you gained something this week. There was always a guilt factor. And you don't have that with this program.
No.
I mean, there's no guilt. It is what it is. And then you just figure out a way to okay, let's figure out what's not working and go from there.
And that's it. Yeah, the other programs missed that book of Romans, that Romans 8, I think, where there's no condemnation. So, and because there's not, and I'm glad you brought that up, Suzette. That is something that I know our affectionately known, our apple pie guy, Chris McWilliams, about 3 years ago, when he figured out he could eat apple pie once in a while and it not throw him out of whack. And you've heard that story a bunch, but he said, oh my gosh, you're the guiltless weight loss plan. I've never seen anybody did it. And I said, no, there's no reason to make guilt, because we miss the fact that we're winning at 80, 90, 100%, regardless of what the scale says. And then, and if we keep leaning into the winning, then the ideal weight becomes inevitable. And that's what you're doing. And it's fun. I mean, yeah, guilt stinks. why do we want that? I mean, we've had enough of that. So if that were working, everybody be, all the women be size 4 and all the men would be size 30 waist,
There you go.
Well, thank you so much for being here. As I said, you've been a blast to serve.
Thank you.
And we're going to have you back again when you reach your ideal weight, because we want to talk about that. And because a lot of people miss this. And I say this, I know Sean Wiggins is one of those people. We had Sean when Sean had quite a bit more weight than most people have to lose in the program. And he was on, and because there's somebody who sees you. See, this is the thing we say all the time. They sees that 37 pounds you've lost, 36 pounds you've lost, and they dream of it. And I want them to see that it's possible with everybody. And you've done phenomenal. Keep leaning into the process. It becomes inevitability every single time. So thank you so much for sharing your story with me. All right. God bless.
You